Okay. All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, okay. So for the most part, I'll be away from this microphone, so I'll try to sound loud. Um, before we start, I'm going to introduce myself, but I'm going to do a brief introduction of a very special guest. I'm going to have him sit up front here with me so everyone can see him. So we have a World War II veteran here. He's 99 years old. He gets around really, really good. Um, so his name's Jack Vanino. He served in World War II and the Korean War, and he served in the South Pacific. I have a whole presentation about him, so I don't want to give too much away. But Mr. Jack, do you mind sitting up here at the table? Okay. You got it? Okay. You want to sit at that chair over here? Okay. All right. I promise. I will tell you more about him because he's by far way more important than I am. So, um, okay. So, Keeping History Alive by Tyler Boland. Tyler Boland is me. Hello to everyone at home. The first question I get asked a lot is how I got the name Keeping History Alive. For my 16th birthday, a World War II veteran came over to my house and baked me a cake, and that's what it said on the cake. So that's how I got the name. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so introduction. I'm sorry that it might be hard to read on this slide, but every other slide it's easy. So my name's Tyler. I'm a 21-year-old college student. I attend Albright College here in Reading. I just finished my junior year. First, I want to give a quick shout out to Vicky and the Berks History Center and Mr. Fred. I probably drive Fred a little crazy. I always ask him to go with me to knock on World War II veterans' doors. But thank you to all three. Now, I'm not a veteran. I am not in the service. So you might be wondering why I'm speaking here today. I graduated from Wilson High School in 2022, about 80 years after Jack. He graduated from Wilson. So go Bulldogs. But that's where my journey began with this whole project. I've always had an interest in history. My mom was a history teacher. So growing up, history really rubbed off on me. In ninth grade, a World War II veteran was scheduled to speak to our ninth grade history class. But unfortunately, the day before he was scheduled to speak, he sadly passed away. I was really disappointed. I did not get to meet him. I asked both my grandparents if they knew of any World War II veterans. My dad's mom said her father, my great-grandfather, had served in the Marine Corps during World War II, but unfortunately passed in the 90s. But she showed me all of his war memorabilia and told me about his service. So those two things really got me hooked. So another question I get, how did I get started? So a few weeks later, by complete coincidence, I met a World War II veteran who actually served with my great-grandfather in the South Pacific. His name was Matt Gutman. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple months ago. But my great-grandfather, Charles Schwambach, who was a Marine, and we'll get into him a little bit more. All right. Okay, so the mission that I do, everyone kind of knows it by now. I interview World War II veterans. So in the middle of the slide is a chart. So during World War II, or at the end of World War II, there were about 16 million Americans, men and women, who served. Today, fewer than 1% are still with us, about 45,000 nationwide. On average, we lose about 200 to 300 World War II veterans each day. Unfortunately, one of my World War II vets passed away yesterday, so they are going quick, unfortunately. The youngest now that I know of is about 97. I share that statistic not to sadden you, but to remind you all that time is not on our side to honoring these World War II veterans. So people often ask me, what do I do with the interviews and how I record them? My dad used to own a video production company, and when he sold it, he gave me all the camera equipment. So from the beginning, he told me to use this to capture Jack and other World War II veteran stories so they won't be lost to time. Since I was a freshman in high school, I've interviewed 1 to 3 World War II veterans every week. In the past 5 years, I've recorded several hundred stories and built one of the largest private collections of World War II veteran interviews in the world, which I'm very proud of. So yeah, all right, we'll get into the next slide. Okay, so this slide has to do with the Berks History Center. Back in November, I had one of the largest World War II veteran gatherings in the world to date in recent years. So it's not just about interviews, which is obviously important, but the most important thing, in my opinion, is honoring these heroes while they're still here. Today I brought an incredible World War II veteran with me today. I promise I'll introduce him shortly. Um, but on November 10th, back in 2024, I brought together about 60 World War II veterans, age ranging between 98 and 105. Yeah, and like I said, that was one of the largest World War II gatherings in the world in the past couple of years. And we had a great turnout and we had a lot of good fun. So obviously, I want to thank the Berks History Center for allowing me to bring these vets together. And I think it's safe to say that in this room, it was probably the oldest room in the world at that time. So anyway, but these veterans at the Berks History Center with 60 World War II veterans, these heroes sat in the exact same seats that you guys are sitting in today, which is pretty special. So these are some pictures from the dinner we had. At the bottom, you can't really see, but Fred was collecting signatures on the American flag, which is cool. All right. So where did this project come from? So I mentioned my great-grandfather, Pop-Up. So his name was Charles or Chuck Schwambach. His nickname during the war was Jigs. That's the same name I have on my World War II Jeep. I named it after him. So my pop-up enlisted into the U.S. Marine Corps a day after Pearl Harbor. He served with the 1st Marine Division's 7th Marine Regiment, 1st Battalion, Company C. I only discovered this recently by going through different archives, but I'll touch on that. Okay, and I only recently discovered that while I was on a recent trip of mine, but I'll get to that later. My pop-up fought the Japanese on Guadalcanal, Cape Gloucester, New Britain, and Peleliu. On Peleliu, he earned 3 Purple Hearts. That's why I have those 3 Purple Hearts. Though the exact stories on how he was wounded are still unknown. I have no idea what happened. My pop-up survived the war. He ran several local diners in the area, but sadly passed away in 1993 at the age of 73, about 10 years before I was born. So I never got to meet him. But those are some pictures of my pop-up. And the bottom picture is him on the upper right. And that was taken on Peleliu. So I'll talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so my latest adventure, this was about 2 weeks ago. So if you thought it was hot outside today, you're wrong. So I never would have thought that my freshman year of high school of this project would have led me to travel across the world. As Vicky and Fred pointed out, I've been to Normandy. Later this summer, I'll be going to Belgium and Germany. But like I said, a couple weeks ago, I traveled across the world. Took me about 40 hours to get there one way. Yeah. But 2 weeks ago, I returned from Peleliu, which is a small island, which is about 6 miles long, 2 miles wide, in the country of Palau. This is about 100 miles away from the Philippines. More on the Philippines a little later. This island is completely untouched, and only about 50 to 100 people are currently living there. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of World War II artifacts just sitting there. So unexploded ordnance, which my grandma was not happy about, tanks, planes, helmets, bullets, all sorts of things. But the most memorable experience for me was going to the exact beach where my pop-up landed on, which was Orange Beach. Um, I want to just briefly talk about Peleliu. Not a lot of people have heard of it. Peleliu was the second most deadly battle in the Pacific, right behind Okinawa. There were 11,000 Japanese troops on the island in the caves. The battle was only supposed to be 3 days long, but it lasted about 28 days. Out of the 11,000 Japanese troops, after the battle, only 19 Japanese troops remained, which is crazy. But yeah, this is one of the bloodiest battles in the Pacific. So I have several pictures of me on Peleliu. Those are 500-pound bombs. Again, my grandma was not happy about that picture. Those are several LVTs, or landing vehicle tracks or tanks. You can't really see it in the bottom left picture, but there was a Japanese Zero in the jungle. The old picture there and that picture, I found old footage from World War II of Marines landing at the exact same picture or spot where I took that picture, and I thought that was really cool. And the two bigger pictures are at Orange Beach. That's my grandpa. I brought a picture of him, and that's me in Orange Beach. And I've never touched water of an ocean so warm. It was so hot. But yeah, so those are some pictures. So that's my recent journey. Okay, so I always like to talk about a division or a group of World War II when I give a presentation. So I chose the 86th Infantry Division today, which is kind of an unknown division. Not a lot of people know much about it. So this division was nicknamed the Black Hawk Division. Kind of can tell that's the logo of the division. One of the battalions that was attached to it was the 311th Engineer Combat Battalion. In 1945, they were sent to the Philippines, landing on Leyte and Luzon. Those are just a couple of the big battles that they were involved in. The battalion's job was to build roads, bridges, airstrips, and clear mines, often under fire. These guys weren't just behind the scenes, but they were involved in the fight, making sure the front lines could keep moving. This division played a huge role in helping the U.S. take back the Philippines from the Japanese. So that's a little bit of the 86th Infantry Division history. They were they're not a really well-known division, so I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. But the reason why I'm talking about this division is because we have one of our World War II veterans with us today. I told you I'd talk about him again. So the reason why I chose the 86th was because Jack was in the 86th Infantry Division. Through my research, he's one of 6 remaining 86th Infantry Division vets. So we have one of 6 of these veterans with us today. So take advantage of this opportunity to talk to Mr. Jack. He has a great story and he's a great guy. So like I said, you might be wondering why I'm talking about the 86th. I'm not talking about the 101st Airborne, 82nd, talking about a kind of a rare division. So there were dozens of Americans. There were dozens of American divisions during World War II, about 100 different Army infantry divisions, including the 86th. But tonight, I have brought, well, with the help of Fred, we brought a 99-year-old World War II veteran, Jack Vanino. Jack was born in Italy in 1926, but moved to Pennsylvania. He graduated from Wilson High School, go Bulldogs, in 1944, which is only about 80 years ago. And soon later, he joined the U.S. Army Air Corps, but then transferred into the U.S. Army. Jack served in the 86th Infantry Division, in the 318th Anti-Tank Battalion, and also the 311th Combat Engineer Battalion. Jack fought in the Philippines. The reason why I talked about Peleliu was because this was about 100 miles away from the Philippines. So I was really, really close to where Jack saw World War II, which I thought was kind of interesting. Jack is a very good friend of mine. I've known him for about 2 years now. He's one of the veterans that me and Fred knocked on the door. So it worked. He's here with me today. Um, but I may be 21 years old. But through this project, I've seen the world and met amazing people, including these veterans. Um, but I always say that there's nothing particularly special about me. I'm always hesitant to do talks because I'm not really important. I'm just the college kid with the camera and a goal to interview as many World War II veterans as I can. So when I do these lectures, I try my best to bring a World War II veteran because I wouldn't be doing this without them. So I will go to the next slide. And these are obviously pictures of Jack. The two of him right there, those are in the Philippines. And the top right is him in the Army Air Corps before he transferred into the Army. So that's a little bit about Jack. And you can't see the bottom picture, but that's a Japanese flag behind Jack, and he's holding up a Yingling beer. And I thought that was a good picture of him. So if you want to see more of Jack, he'll be with me at the Reading Airport this weekend at the Reading World War II Air Show, which I highly recommend. One of the people in the audience right now, Mr. Tom Trait, his mom, it will be 103. She was an original Rosie the Riveter. She will also be there. So I highly recommend going. Okay, so another question I get a lot is how can you support my goal or my mission? So I'm giving you all homework today. Even if you're not tech savvy, I promise everything is really easy and accessible. I have a website it's called keepinghistoryalive.org, really easy to remember. I also have a Facebook page where I post all the pictures of my World War II veterans and all our adventures together. And lastly, I have a YouTube channel with the same name, Keeping History Alive. And that's where I post all my World War II video interviews, including Jack's and several others. So yeah, so make sure you check those out, like and subscribe if you can. That's the best way you can support me. So yeah, so I was glad that I did this presentation today because obviously I wanted to give back to the Berks History Center for allowing me to come here a couple months ago to talk about, or a couple months ago with the World War II dinner. This is just a token of my appreciation for letting us do that, and hopefully we can do more in the future. So I just want to I want to thank you all for listening to this 21-year-old college student. I wrote here a couple days ago who definitely needs a haircut. Even if it doesn't look it, I got a haircut 2 days ago. um, but I'm very grateful to stand before you all today. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to speak at the Berks History Center. To the younger generation, I'm very happy to see kids here and younger people here, not only with the World War II veteran we have here, but we're lucky to have him here with us. And especially, we remember those who never made it home. I encourage you to feel free to ask me any questions. I might have missed some things, but also ask Jack some questions. He has some really good stories to tell. So yeah, so I just want to thank you all very much for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. So thank you. I want to mention one other thing before I take any questions. For the past several months, I buy my World War II veterans veteran caps so people can recognize them in stores or whatever. And I've been looking for months to find an 86th Infantry Division cap, and I could not find one until last week. I found one, and I just want to give that to Jack. So, Mr. Jack, here is your surprise.
Oh,
I finally,
oh yeah. I put that alongside of my other one. That's an oldie.
Jack has plenty of hats. He probably has about 500 in his closet, but I just wanted to give that to him. So,
Very good.
does anyone have any questions for me or Jack? Jack doesn't bite, I promise. Yes.
Just curious how you chose to move from the Army Air Corps to the Army. Was
Well,
it your decision or yours?
Yeah, the Army did that. We went, I was at Wilson High School, of course, and we signed up for the Air Corps, and here we're ready to go in the Air Corps. And we went up to Allentown, took our tests, we passed, and next thing we were ready to roll, and here they changed. They stopped the program because it was getting close to the end of the war, and they didn't want to spend the money. So I chose to stay in, which I'm glad I did, because that way I got VA benefits and a whole bit, which I didn't know at that time. But we departed from, let's see, would be from California, got on a ship, took 34 days to get to the Philippines. And this was in 45, the war was over. I mean, but the guy, he still took his time. And we finally got there, and it was in the middle of the night. And here they had boxcars. And we had found out later that the only railroad in the Philippines was owned by MacArthur at that time. So we were in these boxcars and went up to San Fernando La Union, which is upstate in the Philippines. And there we were with an amphibian truck company, and we'd unload ships with these ducks that would go in the water and then land, and then we'd take all the supplies off the ships. And after that, I transferred on to the 318th, 311th Engineer Combat Battalion. I get my 318th on all mixed up. And there we were building, like I said, building bridges and all kinds of stuff like that. By that time, I was Sergeant Major of the battalion, which is more or less like the boss, supposedly, of the enlisted men. And we had a lot of good times and a lot of bad times. And here we had a place up in Baguio, which was the summer capital of the Philippines. And they were having a problem, and they sent me up there. And here the problem happened to be two guys from Reading that were causing the problem. And they were friends of my brothers. So I was a young guy, and they're middle-aged guys, and not, we straightened it out. I mean, they went home, I stayed. Because when these fellows come over from the 86th Division from Europe, they got all kind of points. I think I had 6 points, and to go home, you had to have like 30 some. And I thought, man, I'll never get home to my mommy. Because at that time I was like 18 years old. And, you're a young kid, and you don't know any better. And it was an education though, And when I come home, then I ventured off into the reserves. And my brother was, he passed away years ago, but he was in the 69th Division, and they were in the Battle of the Bulge. And he had I wish he was here. He had some terrific stories to tell you, But so he passed away years ago. Which, like almost all of my buddies passed away, So I'm more or less like one of the last ones. But that's how I wound up in the Air Corps. I wound up in the engineers. And the Army has a way of changing you, but I enjoyed it. I hope I answered your question.
Is there any other questions for Jack?
Did you actually sign up before you were actually?
Did I sign up before? Oh, yeah, you signed up. But you had an option of getting out. They gave you that option. A buddy of mine, he got out. But, I mean, he got drafted, so he didn't gain much. But we were with, but when I did get out, get out of the World War II, I stayed in the reserves. And I told my brother, you know, we used to get like $20 a month, which was good bucks in those days. And I was a master sergeant, he was a master sergeant, so I said, hang in. So we signed up, and son of a gun, they picked the 318 Tank Battalion, heavy. And I thought, they ain't never gonna send one of them guys to Korea. But they were a big, heavy monster, you know, they get all kind of noise and stuff. But they called us up. We wound up down in Louisiana. And I more or less was in the idea of I could more or less control if I wanted to go overseas or not, and I chose not to go because by the time I got married and the whole bit, you know, had a little baby, and I was getting a little, I knew what my chances were of coming back home. So we stayed there in Louisiana for 2 years. And then I got discharged, and here I am today.
He was referring to the Korean conflict, but. Is there any other question? Yes.
Yeah, I have a question for Jack. The picture on the top, is that a picture taken of you when you were in the Army airport?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Follow-up. Did you ever get off the ground?
No, no, it was all paperwork, all paperwork.
It's science that my father passed away when he was 92, would have been 101 this year.
Oh,
He
okay.
was also in the Army airport. I have the exact same picture.
Oh, okay.
Not you, but-
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And his story always was too. He said, "Don't get too excited. I never got off the ground."
Okay, okay.
Pretty funny.
We had a fella, he was a pharmacist on Front Street in Reading, Bob Fix. And he used to fly. He had a private plane out at Wonderfield that was off of 183.
Yeah.
And he would take us out, and that was really a break for us. We were young kids, you know, and he'd take us on the airplane, you know. And he'd take a picture of us in front of it, you know, the whole bit, you know. But that was getting that. Yeah, I didn't get off the ground. I stayed with
No.
Banks.
Looked like it.
Yeah, why? Yeah, yeah.
Tanks don't fly, they're heavy.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Of all the interviews,
Hmm.
what do you plan to do with this? Or have you already started to do something from
So
the
the.
archive standpoint?
So the interviews that I've done, so the Facebook page is where I put all the pictures, like still pictures, and then the YouTube channel I have, that's where I upload all the interviews. So the where's my clicker? Oops. Down here, the bottom right. That, like, I don't know if you can see it, but I have like all my like video interviews. So I obviously edit them a little bit, but
Okay. Have you reached out to the World War II Museum in New Orleans?
yeah, we've been there. Yeah.
Well, I know you've been there, but have you contacted them as to providing any of this to them for?
Well, next week,
archive stand?
they're actually coming up to interview some of the guys. So yeah. So yeah.
But they're looking to do that on their own as opposed to using your.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there any other questions? Fred?
Quite likely, I'll be there.
Oh, okay. So that big hunk of metal was
Yeah.
given to me as a gift. That was a World War II M1 helmet that was in the Army. It was in Europe. And that was kind of when I was really getting started in the whole World War II stuff. And it was sitting in my room collecting dust. And one of my 8th Armored Veterans who passed away. He put it on his head. He's like, get a picture of me wearing this thing. I haven't worn it in 80 years. I'm like, okay. And I think I have a picture of him somewhere. Yeah, the veteran right there. He was like, I was holding him up. That guy. He was a really nice guy. He was on a half track in Europe. He put it on, and I took a picture of it. I'm like, I really like this idea. And I'm like, why don't you sign it? And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'll have as many as I can sign it. So he died about a year and a half ago. So since then, so in the past year or so, those are all World War II veteran signatures. They sign it. And not only do they sign it, but I get a picture of them wearing it. So Jack can attest. He put that thing on at one point. Yeah. And it's heavy. It's got some weight to it. But yeah, that's what they would have worn. So that's the helmet. I forgot to include pictures, but I took that to Normandy with me. So I had that with me at the anniversary. I took it back to Normandy Beach. I took a couple pictures of it on the beach. So that helmet's been with me everywhere. So that's my baby besides my World War II Jeep. So yeah. So that's the helmet. So
So your great grandfather was in the first Marines.
yep.
Was he part of the old breed?
So the old breed with Eugene Sledge, you're referring. Eugene Sledge was with the 1st Marine Division, but he was with the 5th Marine Regiment. Now, I think I have a picture of it. I think you'll get a kick out of this. So do you see the picture of me kind of squatting down, holding something in like a tan? Okay. So I was in a Japanese bunker. Now, Peleliu is a small island. Some people live there. If you take a 100-yard canoe ride across the bay to a small island called Negabis, that's a sister island. If anyone watched the Pacific with Eugene Sledge and, there was a scene where he heard Japanese in a bunker and he's like, I think Japanese are in there. Get a tank over here. And everyone's like, there's no one in there. But really, there were 12 Japanese in there and he had a tank blow it up. That picture was taken in that bunker. And that was a canteen, a Japanese canteen remaining from the explosion. Now, I didn't put this because it's not PG, but we actually found a skull in that bunker as well, which is crazy. No one lives on that island. I mean, it's completely secluded. Like, yeah, it was hot and sweaty.
Where's there, obviously.
We did me and my friend did everything on our own. So we rented a bike, which was very hot. I don't know if I said that already. And we biked around this island. I mean, it's not really big. It's only 6 miles long and everything's pretty flat. But yeah, that's the story about the Eugene Sledge. We saw the bunker there. There's a little plaque, but it's kind of overgrown because no one actually lives there. So yeah, that was really cool. So it's episode 6 of the Pacific. So after this, if anyone ever, yeah. So watch episode 6, and I was in that bunker. So yeah. Is there any other questions?
Say that your grandmother just finding the skull on the island.
No. Both grandmas were not happy about the bonds. The skull. I don't think I told him about the skull. But there was a story. My friend Jim, he says it wasn't that bad, but you had to be there. It was kind of scary. We were going to see a tank, the tank in the right-hand side where I'm top of. We were going through the jungle, and this guy lives on this property, and you have to give him $5 to see this stuff. And there's a Navy plane that's crashed, and we were looking to find this plane. And we step over this big tree that fell down. And when he was in front of me, he steps over it like this, and his foot was maybe a foot away from a Japanese anti-tank mine. And it still had the pin in. My dad's like, "Oh, that's not real." I'm like, "Dad, I swear it was real." So we had not a couple close calls, but that was our closest call. But yeah, it was a cool trip. I don't know if I can handle it again because how hot it was. I'm a Pennsylvania Dutch boy, and we're not used to that heat. But so Is there any other questions? Oh, yes, sir. What did I do? What did he do? Jack, what did you do for a career after after your service?
After World War II, I went back to textile machine works and became a machinist.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's a machinist. Is there
Yeah.
any other question? Yes, sir.
What do you plan to do when you graduate over?
And I get asked that all the time. I have no idea. My mom's a teacher. I do not want to be a teacher. Yeah, I don't know yet. It'll come to me. So sorry. So, but yeah, so I don't know yet, but I'll think of something, I'm sure. But maybe. Is there any other questions for me or Jack? No? If not, feel free to come up, get pictures with Jack. Again, he doesn't bite. If you guys wanna
Oh, boy.
try on my helmet and put it on, you're more than welcome to feel it. So yeah, thanks for everyone for coming out. Appreciate it.